And we're back. All right. So shall we knock out some downtimes?
Let's do it.
Red.
Let me see. I think I have the sheet.
Ooh, there's a chance I might overindulge if I.
Yeah, I'm at 5 out of 6 too, so we'll see. It's risky, but
I feel like it's just the right time for some ghost position.
Step 1, duty. Let's earn some duty. So the unit earns 2 duty per operation by default. If the unit made progress on the mandate, take +1 duty. So I think we did. Does that sound fair, Judd?
Yeah.
So 3 duty.
Yep.
I'll just mark it. Yep. I'm just gonna clear it, by the way, the rep and the heat, because we're starting from scratch, so 3 it is. Alright, next up. Heat. After an operation or conflict with an opponent, unit takes heat equal to double the tier of the highest tier subject involved. Which, I think the only person that we threw in jail and or went up against was the Wraiths. Is that correct?
Right, and they're tier 2.
Okay. So that should be 4 heats.
Whew.
Yeah, I'm used to just straight up getting wanted levels. Or pressure, as it is for us. Next up, paperwork and entanglements. Do we deal with paperwork or blow it off?
Ooh, good question. How desperately do we want that bonus from blowing it off? Is it that important to us right now?
It's not that important right now. I mean, it's not a bad thing to have. It's just a question of what we want. I feel like if we're writing an Imperial Mandate, I think we actually probably write it. I would actually just write it accurately,
including all the ghost stuff.
There isn't really a lot of ghost stuff per se. We can say. Hang on a second. Oh. Just rolling stuff. We're good. I think that
the war rages on.
All I heard was like whoop whoop whoop. I was like, should I be paying attention to that?
Nope.
All right. I think we can probably skip the details about him stepping out of the ghost field, but we can say like we found a clue pointing at involvement by one of the factions that was already suspected, which is Silver Nails, during the interrogation. Another faction, the Wraiths from the opposing, side, attempted an assassination. It was foiled by, the heroic actions of the Bluecoat and the Inspector. And, we have booked this guy on a lesser charge, in order to secure him as an asset potentially later. If not, we'll book him for the many thefts that are pending. I think we're upfront about that. I think we're like, look, we're trying to scheme a little because there's bigger fish to fry. Like we need some leverage here, and we have none. So we're building leverage by doing this.
That makes sense. Yeah, I'm on board to co-sign that. And also, I just want to say, gosh dang it, those gangs are way better at rolling dice than I am.
Yes.
Well, hopefully they're all better at rolling dice than you are, so that they can push back and forth and we don't have to worry about it.
Rad. Yeah, so I think you're right. I think we put that into the report, skipping out the ghost field staff, but just upfront about who's involved, what happened, and yeah.
All right, Judd. 0 dice, heat 4/5.
I didn't catch that. 0 dice.
It's on the heat 4/5 chart.
Okay.
So entanglements.
Yes.
So roll 2d6, take the worst, and it's on the 4/5 entanglement.
I knew it couldn't be easy.
I mean, it's easy-ish. It could be okay.
Sorry. I was doing other background clocks regarding the war, so I got I got sidetracked. I
No problem.
apologize.
There's a lot going on.
Cool. So
At least 6 things going on.
there are. So heat 0 to 3. What's the
Heat is 4 to 5. It's
oh, your
zero
heat is 4 to 5?
because our pressure is 0. You roll pressure and take the result.
Goodness gracious. Okay. So I'm rolling.
0 dice,
Got it.
which
I'm
is
trying to roll
2d6.
two,
Take the worst.
the lowest.
Yeah.
Yep. Cool.
All right,
so
so
I got
it's a 2.
I got a 2.
And our options right now for reading the dice is bad weather, which is Bluecoats expect you to join in on a score to extort the locals, or a community, which is someone from the local community expects you to handle a problem for them, put the mandate on hold to deal with it, or take -1 status with the citizenry.
Got it.
Both sound, yes, like you said, wildly inconvenient.
We may be able to deal, well, it depends on what the community problem is.
That's true.
We may be able to deal with it quickly, it just depends.
Right. I've got an idea. Let me look at one faction real fast because there are a lot of pieces in place here.
There's a lot of factions dealing with the citizenry for once.
Right.
I hope it involves the tarot gamblers.
So, hilariously, I found out that the Grey Cloaks own a fighting ring and a gambling den. And I have a feeling that we've seen them on screen. We just didn't realize that they're plot relevant until this season.
Oh,
Right.
rad. That's awesome.
Right. Yeah, one of them was like played by Sean Beam, and everyone was like, "Why did they get Sean Beam for just a background character? It's crazy."
2 seasons later.
Yes.
Oh.
Cool. So
then
I
it
think
dies.
I think
Sorry,
Drav.
Sean. Yeah, go.
So Drav, you still live in could you still live in the same apartment? You haven't found a new apartment yet.
Uh-huh.
So
I'm working
you
on it,
still
but yeah.
Yeah, you're working on it, but you still live in Dunslow, and so you're coming back from work, and a concerned citizen, one of your neighbors, comes by and says, Mr. Drav, since you've left, things have just gone to hell in Dunslow. The billhooks are just running amok, hunting people in the streets. You need to do something about it.
Me. Billhooks are a gang with like 20 some odd members. What exactly are you expecting me to do? Well, okay, no, Drav wouldn't say that. I think he looks at the man and says, you got family in trouble or something?
I got a nephew. He got back from the war and he fell in with a gang called the Lost.
Okay.
Anyway, he says the billhooks are hunting them like they're game.
That's the grind. What do you want me to do?
I don't know. Just keep him out of Dunslow. Can't you do something?
I could talk to your nephew. See if I can get him to stay at home. Keep his head out of it. It's gonna get worse. I look at the man and I say, like, look, this is a much bigger war than you and me. I can't promise you that I can do anything specific because it's not a question of just me. It's not even a question of your nephew. There's a war on the streets. And there is going to be a lot of dead unless we can figure out what's actually causing it. But what's causing it is bigger than your nephew or me. I mean, I can go and talk to the Dunslow precinct, but they're going to have their hands full. When the streets go to war, you know how it is. The bodies stack up, the bell keeps ringing. I've been in it. And no matter how much the Bluecoats... not saying that the precinct is doing everything it can, but I am saying that it may be impossible for them to stop two gangs from warring just by putting more coats on the streets. I'll talk to them and I'll see what I can do. But
if you could talk to Echo, that'd be good.
is Echo your nephew?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay. Give me his information, give me like where I can find him, and I will do that. I also promise that I can stop by the precinct and see if I can flex some muscles to get a little bit more cooperation on the streets for a bit. But the best thing that you can do right now is convince your nephew to step away from the groups that are going to be under fire if you want to keep him safe. I'll see what I can do.
If I would, I could.
I know that feeling. So did my mom. Cool. So, Echo, huh? Yeah, the Bill Hook's gonna murder a lot of people. Who's precinct chief? Is it still the eel? Or did he get revoked, if I recall? I can't remember.
He's still the precinct chief.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. I think I wake up bright and early, and I'm gonna go stop by the precinct and step into Helker's office.
Yeah. He's chewing out a couple of watch sergeants when you're there, and when he sees you, he says, "Get out of the office." Well, what brings you?
Here from Six Towers?
Uh-huh.
I hear you've got a body count.
Yeah, it's happening all over the city. Whole city's got a body count. There was a firefight at the docks last night. Anyway, it's all over.
How many?
I've got 2 dead last night. Another one the night before. One of the 2 from last night is no, the one, I don't know. Looks like they're from a gang called the Lost. A bunch of vets trying to
stir up
play
trouble.
Yeah.
Well, I know some of the. Actually, I'm not gonna tell him a sob story. This guy doesn't give a shit. I'm just gonna look at him. I'm gonna say like, look, what are you doing about this? That's not all your problem to solve, but I'm asking specifically about Dunslow.
I'm doing what I can. When we see members of the Lost gathering, we try to bust them up so that the bill hooks don't have much of a target to hit. When we see bill hooks, if they've got numbers, I'm telling my crews to go after them. If they don't, I'm telling them to call for backup and keep at a distance where they can stop them from doing anything too bloody.
Sounds like
It's a bad scene.
Okay. Does it sound like he's doing everything he can? Because, like, Strach can't think of anything else he could be doing, really. I mean, this is, like...
Yeah, it's Dunslow, right?
It's actually better than I was expecting. I was expecting him to be like, crooks killing crooks, not my problem. So the fact that he's actually doing something is impressive.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you imagine that there's some like up the ladder stuff he could be doing, but for as you said, for what he is, he's doing pretty well.
Okay. When you say up the ladder, where are you talking? Like chief of?
Yeah. Like working in tandem with other chiefs to like figure this out. Like there's just none of that. Like there's no talk of going over a bridge into Coleridge or like trying to deal with the bill hooks in their house or any of that. It's just,
Am I the Dunslow liaison to the inspectors?
Technically, yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. That sounds good. I think I tell him it sounds like he's doing everything he can, and I'm gonna see if I can get him some extra resources.
Cool.
And I don't I leave amicably. I mean,
Okay.
uh,
So I think like the shitty thing is that 5 minutes ago he was chewing out his sergeants, and he was like, "What are you doing out there?" And they're like, "Sarge," or they're like, "Chief, if we see the Lost out there, we break them up. But if we see bill hooks, then if we have numbers, we do something. But if we don't, then we just keep at a distance." And he's like, "Oh, you're useless." And then like he literally regurgitates their plan to you as his. So like I just don't want to make you think that the eel is doing a good job, because he's not.
that's
But
not
yeah.
okay. But you're okay. So my next move is I'm gonna go walk into she has a name. Cyrene Colburn's office.
Yeah.
And I will say, like, cool, I need that job right now.
She reaches into her desk and throws out a sergeant's bars.
Thank you. I'm gonna get a meeting of all the liaisons. We're just gonna go
Awesome.
right over the fucking, like, or right under the precinct chief's heads.
Yeah.
I'm going to, like, organize them up and be like, look, it's a fucking bloodbath out there. I need to know which one of you have pull in your precinct and which one of you are... I don't use the phrase chicken shit, but, like, which one of you can I count on and which one of you are useless? Just tell me. And basically... Go ahead.
Yeah. I think they're like, well, what do you need done? Like, some of us got sent out because we weren't liked. Some of us still have some pull among the rank and file. Some of us don't. I mean, it's a different story for all of us.
Cool. Which ones don't have either pull with their chiefs or pull with the rank and file? Which ones feel like they couldn't make a difference?
That's a great question.
You know what? Don't worry about it. We'll just generalize them. We'll say, like, number 7, 3, and 12.
Yeah.
But I'm asking how many. Like, are we talking like half or less? Are we talking like a quarter or less?
Hold on. Let me just look at let's do it one by one, right? Because it's there's one for every district.
Sure.
White Crown is useless. The Night Market isn't great. Silk Shore is pretty good. Barrow Cleft is pretty good. Char Hollow is pretty good, and Crow's Foot is pretty good.
Awesome. So I think what I do is I take the guys that are of any use, and I start like having like a stand up and a stand down. So like in the morning we're gonna meet. We're gonna go over like death numbers and other things like that. We're gonna try and like cooperate with each other and build like plans that actually involve like multiple units, right? Like I can get some of the people in Dunslow to back you up and pass information, and then you need to get it to your sergeants and the people that are actually on the street, and they need to like work with the units from the other side. The guys that are useless, I walk, like, as soon as the meeting's done, I thank them for their time. I tell them, like, please try to do whatever you can. This is the plan. This is how it's going to be. But literally, as soon as the meeting is done, I walk into Cyrene Colburn's office and I hand her 3 names and I say, I need these people fired and replaced.
Oh, holy shit.
Yeah, I don't blink.
God.
I tell her the people are going to die and they're going to keep dying unless we get competent people to be, like, contacts for this districts. These people are useless.
Wow.
My neighbor talked to me. You threw an entanglement out. I'm sorry, Judd.
She says, I can replace Night Market and Silk Shore. White Crown and Brightstone are necessary evils right now.
Okay, I'll make do with what I can. I'm also not expecting a lot of crime in those. Like, they're rich districts with a lot of money. Their security is going to be much higher. If somebody decides to set up a bomb in those districts, then those districts will come down on them anyway. So if those guys suck, I'll work around them.
Cool. And she says, here's the paperwork. Tell them that they're going back to their district.
Okay. I do it.
Awesome. So the guy from Silk Shore, so it's Silk Shore and Night Market. The guy from Silk Shore says, if you do this, I'm going to get killed.
Why?
I pissed off a lot of people. I was sent here as like a safety transfer. I need this. I don't have a lot of friends there.
Fantastic. I nod sagely. I adjust the paperwork. I tell Ishmael Comber that he's fired and I have a new administrative assistant.
Do you really?
Oh my god!
I hate that guy. And then I tell my new administrative assistant that he owes me one.
That's incredible.
It's the most amazing thing I've ever seen.
This all happens before 10 a.m. when Maya walks back into the office, and we continue with our day.
And she does it. I feel like Maya's like, "Where is Ishmael with my coffee?"
Drop has your coffee as per normal, and there is a random guy you've never seen there. He looks much older than a poli-sci student. Fuck that guy.
He does.
This motherfucker better not try and take my coat.
That's rule number one: is the admin assistant.
He nods as you come in. He says, "How's it going? I'm Lewitt. I'm your new admin, I guess."
I feel like Maya's looks like issues and is kind of like, "What? Never mind."
I had your coffee. Everything's fine. Actually, no, I'll fill you in, like, probably over lunch. Like, I just say, like, look, I had to make some fast moves this morning. I'm trying to keep the body count down while we do everything else.
And I think when you get back from lunch, Lewitt is there, and he on the desk he had taken apart, cleaned, and then put back together your pistols. And he's like, "Sarge, it looked like you had some electroplasmic discharge on your pistols, so I cleaned them out. If you let that in, it'll rust. It gets real bad. So I cleaned them. I hope you don't mind, Inspector. I couldn't find any of your weapons. So I don't know if you had them on your person or whatever. But if you want me to get them up to ship shape, just let me know."
I will. I bet this is like the code. This is the code situation. It's like, those guns stay with me. They were my grandmother's.
Oh, nice.
I definitely make sure my guns work later, but that's okay. All right, cool.
That's amazing. I love that whole. That is just my favorite.
All right, entanglement's done. Or at least as done as I can get them.
Yeah.
Rad. Oh, I'm excited to alleviate some stress, but also a little bit terrified.
Well, let's get to our appropriate downtimes.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, let me check the sheets real quick. Yes, paperwork and entanglements. Then faction statuses. We take -1 status at the moment with the wraiths, and +1 status with the silver nails. I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Okay, and it is indeed downtimes.
Cool. What are y'all up to?
I'm keen to, against better judgment, go do some riding in the Deathlands. Maybe with Issa, just to sort of get Issa's temperature on what's going on. Drav is welcome to join if Drav wishes.
I'm debating whether I'll be more helpful there or not. What do you think? I feel like you can probably handle this. I can flash back to give you an assist if I need to.
It's good. Yeah, I feel like Issa would be more candid if it were the two of us. Yeah, that's my only thought. So I'm good to go along with Issa and take her temperature.
Cool.
I can roll it up now if that's appropriate.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I'll roll and then see how it goes because I might get possessed again. Indulge face. Oh, I don't clear much stress either.
Okay.
I'm too stressed.
So there is a little area on the map that I almost never remember, and it's called Old Northport, and it is an old port that when they positioned the lightning barrier, it ended up outside of it, and it's like right outside of Dunslow, and so that's like what you're riding through.
Rad.
Is this like old abandoned part of the city that just got cut off by progress in air quotes, and abandoned, and there's like a little wooden jetty and a dozen buildings that are totally abandoned and boarded up, and like the sigil of the spirit wardens is there, and it says something like you shouldn't even fucking be here, like what the fuck, something, but more official. Why are you in the Deathlands? What the hell's wrong with you?
Rad. I feel like this conversation has to happen like at the base of that jetty, right? Like looking out.
Yeah. Oh, awesome.
With like sort of the gentle creaking of like sort of aging wood and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I feel like Maya's like hair is getting caught like in the wind as well as she turns to Issa and says like, what's your take on the situation? I don't think she bothers with like, have you heard about this? Like, what do you think? She's just like, what's your take?
No, I think it's in all the papers. And she says, I think it's a great opportunity for you as an investigator and to kind of really put your mark on this city. You've had a bunch of successful 3 successful cases already. And this is the one that really has the most press since the Rowan case.
Which makes sense. There's a lot of bodies, and bodies make news.
Everyone knows that Duskwall has a lot of scoundrel activity, and no one can remember a time when they all went to war like this.
Oh gosh. Issa, I get the feeling you may know this already, but I learned the other day that Suresh is tangled up in this in some capacity.
Yeah, well, the Silver Nails, they're a gang. What are you going to do? Every community has criminals.
I suppose. Do you have any interest in making sure they come out of this better off than others might otherwise?
That'd be nice.
I am beginning to understand somewhat why people have such a hard time making the right decisions in this city.
Foreigners are put into the investigative positions because they don't have as many ties. That's why the investigator is put into their spot, so that people like the Rowans can be taken down. But your position wasn't created to take down people like Suresh. The Bluecoats will do that if they need to.
That is somewhat of a comfort, for I did not step into this position to see to individuals like Suresh or her associates.
Good.
And I feel like Maya, like, we get that shot of like her violet eyes as she wonders if she should also mention her problem. But she sort of closes them for a moment, and turns her mind back to the case and says, the other thing that we've heard is rumors of the unseen being involved in all of this. I don't know if you've heard anything from your circles.
It's a myth.
It's a
Kind
myth
of like
within-
it's like a, I don't know, a bedtime story scoundrels tell their kids.
Well, if it is a myth, it's a myth people are acting upon with significant violence. It clearly matters to some people. So, in a sense, is it really a myth or imaginary if people believe it to be real?
Then it's a myth with some teeth.
Indeed. Very sharp teeth. Again, the city is filled with very pointy rats. Very well. Oh, and you don't know much about the hive, do you? That was also thrown around today.
The hive, of course I do.
They seem to be
It's
profiting quite significantly off of the situation.
it's a it's a it's a mercantile organization. So they're traders, market speculators. They've got small security forces for their warehouses, but I think that's about it. Little golden wasp, bumblebee for their sigil. I've met their leader, Dejera, at a couple parties. She's nice. She's charming.
Oh, any possibility we might be able to steal an introduction?
Investigator powers. So good.
I could try.
Indeed, whenever she has the time, I'm sure I can make myself available.
Great. I'll send a cipher over with an invite once I get that worked out.
I appreciate it. My feet are beginning to itch. We've been standing here far too long.
Let's get out of here.
Indeed. Saddle up. Right back on into the Deathlands.
Yeah, and I think like just before you leave, she like circles the horse around and she points to like a part of the docks, and she's like, apparently there was decades ago, there was like 50, 60 years, there was a Leviathan attack that actually a Leviathan came up into the streets, and apparently it came up right through here.
Really?
Yeah, it's fascinating. There's a festival for it.
Oh, I'm not familiar. What's the festival?
I think they've fittingly enough call it it's called Flood Day.
Aptly named. Is it happening when does it occur?
Oh, it's next week.
Interesting.
Lots of fried octopus and paper mache tentacles, that kind of thing.
I think I might pulls a face.
You're in the wrong place not to like seafood, Maya. You're in trouble.
I'm sure I will develop an appetite for it one day if I last long enough in the city.
Don't like mushrooms. Don't like seafood.
Cool.
Excellent.
What's next?
Rough.
Drop has some pretty simple down. Well, okay, I have 2 simple downtimes and 1 less simple downtime. I think that I need to go see a doctor, so I have to recover.
Yeah.
But I don't think that I have any doctor allies, which of course makes everything worse. Yeah. Yep. Alright, cool. Yeah, that's it. I gotta go see a doc. I've got weird ghost burns that I need to get treated. That's it. It's a recovery action. Nothing too magical.
Okay. Okay.
The other thing that I'm doing is I'm gonna be vicing with my old gang. I always imagine these like smash cuts from like, like the wind whistling and these people in this gear with like mumbles and like subtitles and like these like massive like panning shots and everything else, and then it's just like the tight, almost claustrophobic space of like the MMA rink kind of thing, with like Drav and Rona's like wailing on someone, and he's like trying to coach her and talking about guy always drops his shoulder before he attacks. That's how you know you gotta dodge. It's no use for me telling you this if you're not dodging, Rona. So yeah, that kind of thing. So yes, I'm vicing and I'm recovering. Those are my simple actions. Is there anything I would like to point out that I do believe that this particular fighting rink, since I have notes, the Great Cloaks own a fighting pit, and I think that this one is it. It's where the
cool.
So yeah,
cool.
Maybe I am paying attention to the fight and paying attention to Rona, but I'm also like keeping an eye out, in the crowds and like looking out for like who's here, who's the boss, that kind of thing. So like I probably know them, but I'm clocking to see how they're doing in the middle of this war, that kind of thing. Just
cool.
Yeah. Cool. So if it's okay, I'm just gonna click some buttons and do the things. Is that all right?
Yeah, do the things.
All right. Where's somebody told me there's a vice button. And I'm going to take 1 bonus die for hanging out with my friends.
Absolutely. Nice. That's my. Oh, did you over stress?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, I overindulge.
Oh my goodness.
We'll talk about that in a second here. Oh boy. Yeah. Man, I can't disappear for a week, although that would clear me of my wounds by itself. So I guess I get an extra entanglement, Judd. Oh, no, wait.
Yeah.
No, wait. Yeah, I don't think I'd really brag about our exploits.
No, it doesn't seem like your thing.
So knock yourself out. Pick an entanglement, Judd. But while I'm at it, I'm gonna roll my recovery if that's all right. I think I only roll 1 die for our tier, and that's it. Let me just... Oop, I just realized that the dice are not up. Haha! Fix that. Recover. Get treatment to take a healing clock. Yeah. This is so bad.
Yeah, it's bad.
Hey, I put 2 ticks on the clock, so that's a thing. And I remember to untick my special armor. Yes. All right, go ahead, Judd. Hit me with the badness.
So, Nessa is the head of the Grey Cloaks, and she literally wears this heavy, old-fashioned gray jacket that's like an old-style Bluecoat jacket, but kind of dyed gray to like.
Oh, is it?
Go with
okay,
this.
Cool.
Yeah, and she's got sergeant stripes on her collars. And she has it's backstage, and we see her like leave a guard at the door as she like goes through this warehouse to the backstage where the fighters are, and we see her walk past the knocked out fighter that Rona beat up unconscious, and then turn a left into another room, and there's Rona looking really ragged. Like it took everything out of her, this one. And she's like barely conscious. And Nessa puts the coin on the table and says, that was a hell of a fight. I didn't think you were going to pull that out. Well done. You're everything I'd heard. And then, but you can tell right away that she's not there to talk to Rona. She's there to talk to you.
Oh, okay, good. Excellent.
And she's about to, like, she says, Dravaron, your name has been coming up here and there, when a gunshot goes off, and she's like, it's the guard. And she turns to her second in command and says, it's the guard at the door. And they take out pistols. And
if I have to be honest,
yeah.
The thing is, normally, like smart, cautious spider players, Josh is just like, that's bait. so like that half of me is like, I need to keep my nose out of this. I am already wounded. If I take another wound, it's gonna reset my recovery clock. This is just a bad idea. Jeff doesn't think like that though. So like I think definitely. I mean, yeah, okay. I think I is how bad is Rona?
When the shot goes off, like a bit of adrenaline comes into her, but you know how bad it is, and she doesn't have much in her.
Then I tell her to stay here, and I grab my jacket and I'm out the door. What's happening?
Yeah. So Nessa followed her second out, and they're at the corner, looking out into the main area, and apparently, those doors have been knocked down, and people are shooting in, and like you see them like take shots and then like back up to like reload, and just like a hail of gunfire comes in.
Okay, cool. I really wish my inspector was here right now, because she can stop this with, her authority. I'm gonna try the same trick. I'm probably gonna get shot. Who's firing? Can I get any idea of like what kind of guns are illegal?
Not that.
But
right.
Yeah, go on.
You have no idea. I mean, you have to stick your head out to see that.
Yeah, okay. Before I do that though, and get it blown off consequently, I'm a bellow like a mofo. I'm a expand all my lungs, and I'm gonna yell. Like, Imperial mandate, Inspector Dravaron, cease your goddamn fire, you assholes.
Nice.
I don't know what the hell that is.
Ooh.
Control?
Control? Yeah.
I'm gonna push myself. Let's try this.
Desperate low?
Yeah. Oh, good. This is gonna end well.
Yeah.
Wait. Let's get one more die from the push. Crit!
Holy shit!
Oh my god. That is wild.
Yeah. So I yell, like stop firing, and then when it like if I hear a couple more shots, I channel Maya, right? Like I know I've seen her do this. It's like the Imperial presence, and I just like turn the fucking like right into the doorway, holding up the Imperial mandate that I pull out of my coat, and I just talk to him like I expect him to stop shooting. And then I don't die, and that's good.
So, wow. I think like word goes out. So like you're holding Imperial mandate and you're staring down like a dozen crows and half a dozen lost. And you can tell the difference, right? The crows all have that like a crow tattoo somewhere on them, and the lost are all former veterans, Army surplus. The crows are all holding pistols. That's like normal bangers that the scoundrels use, and the lost actually have like military rifles.
Oh, good. Good.
Yeah, but like you turn the corner and like you're looking down all those barrels and you see like a member of the Lost like look up and you're like Imperial Mandate, you know.
I flashed the badge with the Emperor's face on it.
And I think like word spreads among these shooters that like they're like Imperials are here. We got to get out. And they fucking start running.
Damn, I should try that more often.
And I think like misinformation spreads among their ranks, and like by the time it gets to the people on the edge of the fight, like the Imperial Army
here.
yeah, like the Imperial Army is here, and they get the fuck out of Dodge. Like you drive them out, and I think like you turn around realizing that was fucking
lucky,
dicey.
You don't.
That was some desperate shit. And you turn around and like Nessa is looking at you like, what?
I'm a mark.
I can't believe that worked. She's what she says.
I turn around and I say, count your blessings. I wasn't sure it would. But I wasn't like, I just say like, look, it's the end of an evening. There's a dozen civilians in here. It's one thing if, you know, the two of you want to take pot shots at each other at somebody else's behest. It's a completely different story if, like, people get caught in the crossfire. You assholes aren't doing this the right way.
I didn't do anything. They ran into my place shooting shit. Don't, come on now.
I take a look at my Imperial Mandate, and I take a look at her, and I hold it up and I say, you know that I am the investigator on the case. Or actually, I wouldn't use that phrase because investigators are different. I say, like, you know that I'm the liaison on the case that is dealing with this. And I, like, give her, like, a look. And I'm just like, if you were completely innocent, if you weren't picking goddamn sides, I wouldn't know it and they wouldn't be shooting at you. And then I, like, put the thing back in my coat and I say, I know how the grind works. I know that you owe your allegiance to people above you, and I know that they're pushing down, but this shit has attracted Imperial attention, so why don't you take that into account, like, when your loyalties come up?
Thanks for your help.
I'm not going to tell you how to do your job, just try and keep civilians out of it.
Right.
Also, don't be surprised if I show up knocking at your door. It's the job. And then I'm gonna head back in and get my friend.
Hey, liaison. When you took down that ghost a couple months ago.
Oh fuck, she's heard about this. I turn around, I look at her.
Was it your decision to have the gondoliers take the brunt of the frontal assault, or were you just doing your job?
That's the Spirit Wardens. It's got nothing to do with me.
Right. Nothing to do with you. But this had to do with me. Coming here fucking judging us. Get the fuck out of here.
Actually, I think Drob straightens up his coat and, like, squares on her, right? Like, he like, steps to her, right? Yeah. And just, like, looks her right in the eye. And he says, I put my fucking life on the line dealing with ghosts that were gonna bring down the goddamn barrier and let everything that's out in the Deathlands into here. I didn't have time to deal with the politics at the time. I'm not giving you shit, and I just saved lives of you and yours and your entire goddamn establishment and business. I'm like, I'm not the bad guy here.
I appreciate your help, and I give you full credit and proper respect for it. What I don't appreciate is you coming in here and judging as if this assault was somehow my fucking fault. You know that's bullshit in your heart. So when you're ready to fucking apologize, come back and apologize, and then we'll have a conversation about it. I'm sure the work you did was great. I hear nothing but good things about you. But what I can't have is you coming in here and fucking throwing your shit around like scoundrels have earned getting shots taken at them. Fuck you.
Oh my god.
The big problem is the code of the street says I can't back down now, but she's right.
You know how this shit works.
Nah, she is right. Drav knows it. I'm trying to gauge my response here.
Okay.
I can't just be like, no, you're wrong. But,
Right. Yeah. I think she like lets you collect yourself. I'm sorry. She doesn't keep going.
I think Drav says like, look, I'm sorry. I was still keyed up. I just walked into potential death.
Hey, that was the gutsiest thing I've ever seen. I can't even believe you just did it. If you had told me you were going to do it, I would say don't do that. It's stupid, but it somehow it worked.
I think he just takes a deep breath and says, you're right. I apologize. I take it back. It's difficult because I have everyday... Actually, no, I think he's straight up. I think he says, like, it's difficult because most of the Bluecoats don't give a shit about the damage that some things cause. And I have my neighbors coming up to me saying that my precinct is going to shit ever since I left. So I'm trying to do what I can to keep the body count down, but people aren't helping. I know the rules. I know this is how the street solves things, but it's frustrating. And it's my job to fucking deal with it right now. And it's slow going because everyone is tied up with loyalty and history and revenge. So...
Listen, I hear you. I hear you. If you had told me 5 years ago that I would be running an illegal fighting ring, I loved my job. I loved what we did, but we started building a case against Lord Strangford, and you know how the city does.
I do.
The Dusk didn't like it, and our watch station commander burned it down and pinned it on us. So here we are.
Well, what I can tell you is... Actually, I can't tell her fucking anything. What I tell her is, like, look, there are some good people amongst the investigators.
I know. We've worked with them before.
All right. Well, if there's anything to be found, they can find it. And if you have any pull, I know that the one that I'm working with is actually honest. So
Sounds good.
Yeah. This feels like an apropos moment to say, like, I'm sorry for your loss, but, like, I'm just like, yeah, city sucks. I get it. Cool. I think I'm just gonna go and deal with my friend and
cool. Yeah.
All right, Maya, back at you. This was a little bit more wild than I expected from a simple, I would like to clear some stress roll. So,
that was
hey.
incredible.
That was awesome.
I think I might train unless there's something else we should be doing.
Reducing heat. Heat is not actually an infinite problem anymore, like it is normally. So we might actually want to... I recognize the cat noise. The cat is somewhere where it's not supposed to be.
So, on one hand, we're streaming, and I just did something really unprofessional. On the other hand, I got a really cute picture of my cat. So, sometimes you got to weigh this shit. And
I understand. I have two little rascals of my own. So, all right.
I will post the picture on my Twitter so it can be shared. So there is that.
There you go. That's your quote unquote professionalism penance is cat pictures on the internet. So tax.
Excellent. I could honestly do with some suggestions on how to reduce heat because we push everyone's involved.
So I think we need to have a different conversation, which is how does this heat manifest? What does that look like? Traditionally, heat for us is pressure from above, right? Like, they want things done yesterday. They want us to take shortcuts. They don't want us to build the case properly. They're giving us crap. They're making things hard, right? And largely, they're doing that because either they have pressures on them or people from below that we're pushing on are bribing them or causing problems, etc. So this could look like anything. It could look like them stirring up more trouble or the war heating up because now we're investigating it, so they're trying to get it done faster. And, like, in order for our superiors to give us more breathing room, we may need to actually, like, handle stuff on the street or something. I don't know. Does that sound reasonable? Or how does this heat manifest? Because, like, we can't really answer the question, how do we reduce heat, unless we understand what this heat looks like. In Blades, it's easy. It means that the cops are coming down on you because you killed some people or did some crime, right? And then, like, every time it's just like, I bribed some cops, you know? Or, like, I throw this other gang under the bus or something. But for us, it's a little bit more complicated because it's not clear what this heat looks like. So, Judd, that's you.
Yeah.
I can take the eel to the Mustang again if he's being hard on us.
No, I don't think the eel is really involved in this heat anymore, right? Like, he's kind of out of your picture.
We're in a different district, if nothing else.
A different river filled with other eels.
I think it's the sit down with Dejera Maha, who is the head of the hive.
Oh, interesting.
Wait, this might be good. How do we reduce heat? This is amazing. We might be able to actually leverage this for good.
Excellent.
Reduce heat.
Click the reduce heat button. Right?
Well, no, because heat is different. In Blades, heat is handled as like an acquire assets thing, but here it is, say how you reduce heat on the unit and roll your action, and then you reduce according to the result. So if we can leverage this into an action we're good at, we'll have lots of dice on it, so that's good. We try that.
Yeah, excellent.
A dinner or a meeting with Dejera Maha sounds like an awesome time. You can leverage all sorts of stuff there.
Cool.
It totally does.
Yeah, so she actually sends you an invite via Messenger to share dinner on her Dagger Isle galleon.
Excellent. I can't swim.
Yeah. It's called the ship is called the Gold Queen.
Fantastic. I think we rarely see Maya shook by anything. And I think like when she takes that step like on the walkway up, we get that sort of twitch of nervousness like in the corner of her eye as she.
Does Maya put on an outfit for this?
Oh, good question. I feel like she maybe if she wasn't like so worried about ghost possession, I feel like she's sort of very reluctant to take off any of her wards or anything, or any of her like Severosi clothing that has protection woven into it. So I think she goes in sort of her usual kit.
To a fancy dinner party?
Oh yeah, that's a good point. maybe she does, because she does zhuzh up her clothes with some wards.
I mean, it's plausible. Like we have other items of clothing. We don't have to wear the same shirt all the time. But like, I'm curious if Maya has like a fancy evening gown, or if she's trying to make a statement by not wearing it, or like how that's received. Like that's certainly going to influence people's reactions, right? Because among other things, the reason I'm asking is Drav is just like, if you want backup, if you want Drav to be there, like he would just be like, what am I supposed to wear to a party like that? Like, I guess my dress uniform?
We can talk to your tailor.
Yeah, my tailor's good. He's got good taste, but he doesn't make outfits for the nobility. Like, I can look better. I don't have the money to look correct.
Perhaps official uniforms, dress uniforms, would be appropriate and also financially responsible. Yeah. Yeah, I guess then Maya would do the same. Dress uniforms. We can go together. Yeah.
So we get to decide this. What is the
What does the dress uniform look like? Yeah. I
official
feel like it's got a lot of
imperial investigator dress uniform look like?
Ooh, that's a good question. I feel like it's to be a bit pompousy, right? Like too many buttons.
I don't know why, but I'm imagining you in like a almost like a white like ship's captain almost uniform with like gold epaulets
that's
and
rad.
nonsense. I don't know if that makes sense to you.
That's
Yeah.
more
I
what
think
I
it's
had in mind, yeah.
I think it's because Judd described the Emperor as being kind of like vaguely Prussian, so I was thinking of like
Yeah.
that kind of style of like dress from that like 1600s sort of that direction of steampunk era.
Yeah.
So
I love that, yeah.
Okay.
That sounds super rad.
Awesome.
Very easy to get food spilled on.
Yeah.
Remember, when eating soup, you scoop away. It's one of the lessons for fancy parties. I'm serious.
That's a good tip. Yeah, for sure. We're wearing this white dress uniform with all the fineries to this fancy party on the Queen.
Sounds good.
All right. So what does this dinner look like?
So you are taken out on a shit. The balls of her. You're taken out to her on a really fortified tugboat. Her soldiers wear this like black jackets with like the high collars that like come up their face, so it almost looks like a mask. And then they wear tricorner hats with gold bees stitched in. And then there's like a gold trim that like goes around. So they're like in black and gold. They look like straight up Star Wars villains. They've got like snub-nosed rifles for city use, and they look at your paperwork they look at your invite pretty carefully, and they like open it and scratch something off under that you didn't even know was there and check it against some other list, and then they like, come on in. Welcome aboard, Miss Dewey. I'm sorry about the security, but times are very difficult and dangerous in Duskfall right now. I'm sure you understand.
Completely. She'll like nod and venture forward.
And then, they say, Foghound away. And the boat gets pushed off. And you remember that the Foghounds are like a smuggler operation that is involved in the war.
Mm.
And then when you look around the boat, you can see places where, like, this boat has been shot on recently. There are bullet holes that are fresh.
Interesting. I feel like my eyes widen for that, but also like that feeling of like when the boat like departs and
Right.
oh, we're on water now.
Yeah. And they take you out to this beautiful Dagger Isle galleon that is just larger than life. It's flying a black flag with a golden bee on it, and then equal to that is the Imperial flag. And
Excellent.
they
arrogance of these people is incredible, because like it's fascinating to me, right? Because like the unseen are like, we're a myth, we don't exist, and these guys are like, right here. Like they're not even trying to hide.
Yes. Yes.
It's like so opposite.
Yeah. And yeah, they you're welcomed aboard. Issa is there. It's a big dinner party. It's lovely. Um, they shoot fireworks off the fucking ship. It's brazen. You eat caviar out of little wooden shoes, which is apparently some rich person tradition. And it's in the book. Look it up. I'm serious.
It's okay. Carry on.
Yeah. And yeah, you have a moment with Dijera Maha. She is she's one of the younger powerful people you've met. And yeah, young, athletic black woman in a nice dress that she could run around in if she had to, and like a dagger aisle. You know, she's got a knife across her back.
Cool.
She says, welcome aboard the Gold Queen. I'm glad you could come,
Oh,
Inspector.
thank you very much for the invite. It's much appreciated. I feel like Maya's like probably holding a shoe that she doesn't know what to do with, because like it's kind of the cocktail stick equivalent of like, well, what do I put this now?
Yeah,
I think Drop
like
takes it and just like takes care of it. But go on.
Thank you.
oh, cool.
Maya's very grateful.
If there are people serving food, etc., who attempt to take it away, Drop gives them the same look that he gave what's his face,
Ishmael
Comber, when he tried to take my coat with all my weapons. I'm like, don't you touch that. God.
I was sure Ishmael Comber was going to be like a long-term NPC, and you just like sacked his ass. I love it. I had no idea.
I think I was primed for it. I've been playing Control, where you play the director, and there's this one point where this lady looks at me, and I'm like, like in that game, you say like, call me Jesse, and she goes, I think I'll call you Faden, and I immediately thought, I'm the director, you're fired. So,
right.
It was just like, you have annoyed me one too many times, Ishmael Gomber. Back to Poli Sci with you.
Oh, poor Ishmael. All right.
Well, yeah, like Maya says, like, the spread is very lovely and the fireworks were fantastic. It's rare one gets the opportunity to experience this level of comfort and relaxation given the daily grind.
Indeed. I imagine you your job is very taxing. Your record is impressive.
I think Maya thinks back to taking down like ghosts and the talking to the damper, and she's like, you have no idea. But again, it's why I very much appreciate the opportunity to speak with you and enjoy your company in this delightful evening. I'm glad to see that you haven't been significantly impacted by the goings on in the city, by the looks of things.
Oh, we have.
Indeed.
I'm glad that we've spent a lot of money to seem that we haven't, but we have.
Well, you've done very well. It's paid off.
Thank you.
Now that I think of it, I did notice some signs of fray on the boat we came in on.
I would imagine that you wouldn't miss that, yes.
I indeed have a particular insight into synth. I think like, and we see the violet eyes.
Right.
And what else? Oh, what should I ask her?
Is there anything I can help you with on the case?
Oh, there's probably a lot you can help with on the case. It's just a matter of knowing which part to tackle first. It's quite the feast before us.
I bet.
Not one that I have a particular appetite for, but if you have some level of capacity to help, I would be amenable.
I'll send over copies of our files. Absolutely.
Oh, thank you very much. Ooh.
There is
Yeah.
there is a bold question you can ask. The Hive side has by far the more battle-worthy and bloody units on the table. You could ask if such things have been, causing damage, if perhaps a lowering of hostilities, like not a ceasefire, but like a slightly less billhook fire, might be apropos. I don't know if she has the power to do it or if she would even consider it, but it's worth making a roll for her.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
I had a cat.
I feel like Maya quite seriously. I think she's like trying to play it up a bit, but it looks quite seriously out to the horizon back,
Yeah.
and says, "It. One thing that I am. Oh God, I don't want to. I'm angling this into an exploit, and I don't want to because I don't have any exploit."
I will assist. You will push. We'll figure it out.
Okay, yeah. She looks very serious out to the horizon and says, like, one thing that I am extremely troubled by on the ground is the level of violence that everyone is experiencing, both within the Bluecoats and people on the street. It's awful. If there are any strings you could pull to perhaps alleviate the level of violence, that too would be much appreciated.
I'll do what I can. But I mean, there's a criminal cult at the head of a side of this war, and most Bluecoats don't even really think they exist.
I have indeed heard of these people who do not exist, and yet people act in line with them as if they are indeed real.
Right. All I'm really been doing, I mean, I know that from a certain point of view, we're in charge of one side of the war, but I think that's naive. All I'm doing is helping people who have helped us in our business dealings in the past with the resources that we have at hand. And as you can see from what I haven't even begun to leverage those resources. I'll do what I can. How much time do you need?
Ooh, how much time do we need?
I mean, the realities of war is that it will flare up, and eventually the other side will do something that these guys can't ignore. So I think we just, I mean,
as long as you can.
Yeah, as long as you can. But like, I mean, one of the things that you can tell her is like, look, we are on the case. We understand that there is this other faction. We are looking into it. It's not impossible, but we need some cooperation so that we can work, right? Like if people are murdering each other, then we can't investigate. We got to deal with the bodies.
Totally. Yeah, I think I fix Tajira with another serious look and say I better than anyone know that just because you cannot see something does not mean it isn't there. We're looking into everything, every aspect of this case to
good
end this.
I know how you like conspicuous targets for your cases. I would hate to become one such target.
Likewise, while they are interesting, they definitely take a toll on one's physical and mental well-being. And you're a delightful lady.
Thank you. Did you have a conversation like this with Lord Rowan before you put him in Ironhook?
It did not take place on a boat, if this is what you were asking.
It is not. But,
I think actually this is the first time that Drav actually talks directly to this woman whose like social status is much higher than his. And I think what he says is, Lord Rowan didn't know our names until we had him kidnapped in the middle of the Deathlands and handed over to the Emperor. Sorry, Maya, you were good cop this time.
It's okay. I love that sort of like pregnant pause too. Is like the party's going on in the background and like people are chatting and like it's tinkling glasses and Drav just sits there like looking at Dejira.
Good to know, Sergeant Duran. And congratulations on your recent promotion.
Thank you.
Have fun.
Indeed.
And she like engages with someone else that she has to deal with and says, "Please excuse me," and walks away.
Cool. Can we make a roll to reduce some heat?
Yeah, let's do it.
Sweet. Does this feel like exploit or does this feel like relate?
That is a good question.
Felt like relate, but I think that really depends on your, like, do you really think she's delightful, and were you really, or I think it depends on you.
So the thing is that like relate is talking to people and gaining access to people via your social circles, and I feel like the Issa connection to her helped us talk to her, and I think that I don't think that she was delightful, but I think that we had a reasonable conversation where we laid out the problems, and this was actually the same conversations we had with the Lamp Blacks, right? Like,
right.
It's just that, you know, Bajo Baz is like, what you gonna do? Put me on a train? And this woman's like, congratulations on your promotion. Like, but it's the same, like, caliber of discussion. We're like, look, we are trying to help the situation, and in a way we are trying to help you. We're investigating people that are ghosts. Like, I get that you're having troubles, we're trying to fix it, but you gotta work with us a little bit. Like, we're not asking for miracles, you can't, I'm not telling you can't do your job, but, like, can we get the body count down? Can you put a leash on the bell hooks, because we can't do that.
Yeah.
I dig it.
Is your relate better?
Yes, but I have two relate.
I will assist you with one of my foresight dice. Because my power lets me assist someone twice for free.
And the position effect doesn't really factor into this.
No, it's just a roll. And then we reduce heat based on how good your die is.
6.
That's 3 ticks. So that's good.
Nice.
So close to a triple crit.
Cool. Maya, could you make a observe roll, controlled great?
Totally. Controlled great.
Yep.
I get a 5.
Okay. All right. Do you mind if when you're so you think you see something, but you're going to need to like follow someone into a dangerous situation to like really figure it out when you're on your way back from the party? So do you mind if we push it rather than with the 5, could we just do it with risky position? So like you're looking into it, but it's risky great now? Is that okay?
Yeah, totally.
Cool. And I'll describe it more once we get into it.
Excellent. I am here for this. I'm feeling reckless.
Good. I figured. The reckless.
Give me all the problems.
Yeah.
Oh, so I write the risky.
Yeah.
I got you.
Risky great. Yeah. Same roll. Do it again.
Ooh, we got a 6 that time.
Nice. Nice. So you like look down an alley and shit, who's doing this?
So a lot of players at play.
Cool. You see, so you have a tune now, right?
Yes, I do.
Awesome. You like see a shimmer that feels a little wrong, and you look up, and they don't see you yet, but you see the shape of two young ladies holding hands, hovering in the air, staring out at the galleon out at port. And you know that like, oh shit, someone is watching it. They're sizing it up.
Oh. Any markings on them that would I can guess like who they are associated with, but
Right.
Yeah, is there anything obvious about their that I can glean from this shimmer? Or is it too vague?
Yeah, in order to really dig in, you'd have to like do some attune and get into some ghosty shit.
Oh, rad.
They're literally like in the ghost field, like.
Excellent. Ooh, I have an idea. I'm just gonna double check the items list. Ooh, yeah. So one of my items is arcane implements.
Yeah.
I like the idea that one, it looks like a necklace like that I've worn to this party, but I think it's like sort of when I pick it up, you can kind of see that it's like got a glass bit to it that one can like put over one's eye to like focus in on this ghost stuff. If you're willing to take the risk of exposing yourself to seeing such things, right? Because they're quite mind bending.
Nice. Nice.
It's your equivalent of a spirit mask.
Yes.
I think make a roll. I think this is a tune risky standard. Does that sound right to you?
That sounds perfect.
Cool.
I think I will push myself. So it's risky great.
Okay. You can push yourself to either make it risky great, or you can push yourself to make the roll at +1d.
Oh, sorry, risky standard.
Yes.
Yeah, it's risky. We're risky standard. Yeah.
Risky standard. Perfect. Ooh, I got a 6.
Cool. So you you look through and you see these two young women clear as day on the other side of the ghost field, in these black and white lace dresses, straight up hovering off like 20 feet off the ground above a building in an alley, holding hands and looking out at this galleon. And I think one of them is holding a notebook and the other one is writing in it.
Right.
And you can tell like they're writing about like guards and security, and they're taking notes on the shit.
That's so cool. I feel like pulling up that monocle eyeglass thing, right? Like we see like the world like through it, and it's like all cold and dark, and like the light. So we get a flash of lightning as like I pull it up to like look there on the horizon.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah, I feel like so Dejira is still present, right? Or have we moved away from her presence? Or where are we? Sorry.
You are like back at the dock from the party.
Oh, yeah.
And I think like the thing that is different about these young ladies than what we know about the ghost field is they are just hovering in it. No mask, nothing. I think you can like when you look at them, you can see their breath. Like when they're like whispering to each other, like there's cold coming out, and every once in a while like lightning arcs in a weird way, but they don't seem. Whereas when Drav was in the ghost field, it was like, I'm drowning. Holy shit, I'm gonna die. These ladies are just like hanging out.
Chillaxing.
Yeah.
Totally chillaxing. And like, as opposed to you and Issa, who like go with like scarves and wards and stuff, and not like full masks. So there's like there's levels to this shit, I guess is what I'm saying.
Brad, I will make a note to send a one of those pipe notes to
Cool.
Jira to maybe consider tightening security up.
Oh wow. Nice.
Yeah, I feel like it would only be fair. But
I guess so. Cool.
Yeah.
That's the end of that for me. Any other downtime stuff we need to do?
So
you have an extra one, right?
Yes, we do. So you took your normal one, which was vicing,
Mhm.
and your second action was this one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. How's your stress? Just checking.
It is back to 4. So not great.
Okay. Yeah, all right. And then for Drav, I viced and I healed. Cool. So I get a third one naturally, and I think I'm gonna spend that third one looking for my apartment, if that's okay, Judd.
Yeah, please.
So I think last time I rolled a 6, and I found a bunch of prospective locations that will work. And so this time I would like to roll relate to keep searching for my apartment, and I'm bringing a bunch of experts on things through. Like, Rona is going to assess it for, like, how easy is it to kick down areas, like, how many exits does it have, like, obviously Hopper's going to make sure that I'm not going to get spirit wardens showing up, through the ghost field, that kind of nonsense. Like, I'm calling in my shits, right? Like, but, like, I'm having them look at multiple locations so that it's not 100% clear which is the location that is going to be the prime location, because again, I am being paranoid about my new apartment. So let's do this real quick.
So this is the second most city urban thing that's happened in the game. The first was an asshole showing you a cool restaurant, and then like having a clock for looking for a new apartment is one of my favorite Duskball things that's ever happened.
It's
I
hard
love it.
Finding a good apartment, particularly a secure apartment. So
Right.
like this is a job. So yeah,
Yep.
I do that, and now I will point out that I picked up a new power last time, and the new power that I got was a little something on the side. So what that does is it gives me 2 stash at the end of every downtime. So I'm just going to mark my 2 stash, and I'm going to immediately cash it out and convert it to coins. So let's talk about what that looks like. If you remember, I used to play the tarot poker with the old ladies, and I think what it is like, Drav's been practicing and practicing and practicing, and like time has passed, right? Like since the last case in this one, and I think this is the time when like Drav literally hits the tables and starts like, it's like a scene from Rounders, right? Like I'm playing tables, I'm playing people, and I'm gonna accumulate my little mass of money, and I'm gonna cash it out. So
Nice.
That's all I'm gonna do. I am done for right now.
Cool.
Maya, we have one more action, but it's limited. It can only be. Let me double check that I write it down in the mandate. I did. Reduce heat, acquire asset, or work on a long-term project. If we're going to work on a long-term project, it may have to be identify an unseen.
Yes, it's a good idea.
And we might just use our cohort. Go ahead.
Funny thing, Dejira sends you her files, and what she sends you is her investigation. All the names on who's actually doing the investigation are like blacked out, but it's literally her files, which are exactly like investigators' files, except it's a private investigator. So like the forms of the paperwork is very similar, and she sends you a folder with her beginning investigation, which is trying to find an unseen safe house, because apparently they have safe houses all over the city, and they've like started narrowing things down in different districts, and like it's professional as fuck. And like she sends you via cipher, she sends you the beginning. It's an 8-click talk. It's an 8-tick clock, and there's already one ticked off of it.
I'm just gonna put that on the mandate if that's okay.
Yep.
Eight tick clock, 1 tick already on. Maya?
What am I doing? Sorry.
I was just gonna say, we can only do long-term projects, acquire asset, or reduce heat with this extra action. So,
oh yes,
doing a long-term project to try and find some unseen is not the worst. You could question our suspect to see what he knows and try cross-referencing that with what the investigator did for the bees. The hive, sorry. I don't know. Whatever idea you have, I'm just...
Yeah, that sounds like a good thread to pull on. We have like some verifiable, like pretty good looking evidence, and then we also have like some his anecdotal experience. Yeah. And I think talking to people is not going to get us to identify an unseen.
Well, it depends on who you're talking to.
Mm.
Our next move, our next step in the case to go talk to the Dimmer sisters, they may have magical ways of finding information out or protecting information once it's found out that we can leverage. I don't know. We'll see.
Indeed.
But I mean, you could talk to people, because remember that our one guy said like there are places that we thought were run by, like random groups, but we're starting to see patterns and they have nearly infinite money. And it's like, great. Anything you can tell us. We got to put some like ticks and pins on the board, right? Like, It's just the start of an investigation, but.
Cool. What's next?
You got to roll so that we can put ticks on a clock. And you have to figure out what skill you're rolling so that we can put ticks on a clock. Alright, the reason I looked is because now I heard a firework, Judd. Something is definitely happening.
What the heck?
I don't know, it's not a holiday as far as I know. It's September 7th!
Remember the 8th of September.
Is this like a sort of conviction-y kind of role? Like
You tell us. I really don't know.
Oh gosh.
Question.
What clock are we attacking? Like we're going after the unseen safe?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I mean, this feels like a question-y kind of approach in terms of like whoever we go to, we're going to need to like sort of try and elicit information from them.
Yep.
Give it a spin.
Yeah.
I mean,
okay.
This clock is just going to take a while. It's fine.
Yep.
I could also just observe and look through the case files extensively that we've been sent to see if there's
things
anything.
Together. That's also a thing. Hey,
yeah,
look
totally.
at you rolling like a champ. Oops, there we go.
Makes me worried.
Yeah, I think like I like the idea of you were questioning, huh?
Yeah, we can say it was an observe looking. Because I also like the idea of like visually of poring over these many files,
checking dots that other people may have missed, that kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I think you could have gotten that from like asking the guy from the Wraiths, asking asking Andrel questions and then like looking at the files while you're doing that and like putting things together. That's cool.
Totally.
Cool. So what? I'm sorry. So that was like, is that part of the investigation? Like, what are we? Is that like next steps? Was that a
No,
downtime?
it was our last downtime.
Okay, cool,
Yes,
cool, cool.
Our next step in the
Got
investigation
it.
is to go and talk to the Dimmer sisters, which
Awesome.
we'll check our clocks and see if we have time.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right. So I think that's actually where we're at. So here's the question, Judd. Do we want to launch into another investigative scene, or do we want to take a break and then do it? Like, what? How are people feeling?
I'm feeling good. How are you guys? How are you two feeling?
I could like do maybe another half hour.
Okay.
To fade a little bit, but yeah.
Okay.
I think it's a well. You never know when you deal with the Dimmer sisters. It might not be. I was gonna say like it's gonna be a low key scene. We'll just talk to them, and then I remembered who we're trying to talk to, so that might not work.
Yep.
I think it'll be all right. Lauren, do you wanna try and talk to the Dimmer sisters, or?
Yeah, I can push for that. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So Judd, this is where I cunningly look at you and say flashback. Back in the day when Drav was a smuggler and a low tier gang, I think we actually ran some stuff for the Dimmer sisters. So I happen to know them. And you tell me how much stress that is.
2.
Okay. And I don't think that like we're best buds or anything, but like we've had professional business relations before and they know me. So it's not going to be a stranger talking to them.
Right.
In the middle of a war. All right, cool. Wait, no, that's the mandate. No, I need stress. There we go. All right, cool. Hey, Maya, I'm all set for stress.
Yay!
Let's go talk to the Dimmer sisters. So Drav's like, look, I need you to understand, like before we go, just so that we're clear, the Dimmer sisters are weird, and so they're like criminal gangs in the city that the city would like to catch, but they catch some members and they throw them into prison, and there's like an understanding, right? Like the cops bust some people, they make deals, they go for people above them, that kind of thing. You know, like their bosses come down on them, they'll bust some heads. The bosses don't come down on them, they let them sell whatever they need to on the street corners. That's like the pace of the city, and that's normal. The Dimmer sisters are different. They're dangerous in a way that the city doesn't 100% know how to deal with. The cops don't want to touch them because nobody is sure what all they can do to you. So interacting with them is going to have a very tricky consequence for our paperwork.
Interesting. I trust in our ability to obfuscate and just get around the truth.
Okay, so we just got to write real good next time. All right, excellent.
Yeah.
Cool. The reason I bring this up is because bosses will overlook this. Potentially even the Emperor won't care. But the Spirit Wardens are a different ball of wax. If they find out that they'll sometimes take people on the suspicion of possession. So, like, I'm just saying we could get into trouble from a very different angle, and those guys are way scarier to me than, you know, just about anything else. So, as long as you're on board, I can get us in. But this is under those like maybe what happens in this conversation stays in this conversation kind of thing, and we'll fudge the paperwork as we need to.
Totally.
Okay.
Totally.
Cool.
I spilled coffee all over the report. Dang it. Sorry, Emperor.
Yeah. Talk to some nice ladies. Had tea. Cool. So yeah, I think I think I'm gonna take us up to the mansion. I don't know, Judd. Why don't you tell me what the protocols are? How do you garner
I don't
an
think
invite?
I don't think you can walk in there because the conventional wisdom is that if you go in, you're not coming out, which isn't necessary, right? but then everyone who runs a Blades in the Dark gang goes in eventually. It's just like almost a rite of passage. So, but I think they don't want you to meet in, but there are.
It's true, actually. I just ran through all of my Blades in the Dark games. It literally happened in every one.
Yes, yes. You totally have to go in. But I think going in with permission is a little weird. But I like it. Fuck it. Let's do it. You'll go in. Yeah. I think you call in favors and they reply with a ghost frosted note ends up on your mantelpiece that says tea will be served tomorrow on the seventh bell.
Okay.
And yeah.
Cool. Just because I think it's creepy and awesome, and also in theme, I think that I pay a particular gondolier, and like we do the like down a channel, and then like we have to walk up to a door so that like we're not seen entering the house from the outside. There's like a protocol, and I know it, right? Like so.
Yeah.
I use the old forms because I don't know what the updated like correct way is to contact them, but like apparently it worked. So. Cool. Let's do this. I think
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, and I think going through those there are ancient canals underneath their house, and there's like a stairs going deeper down into the ancient temple, but you go up into the house.
What is their policy on wards and other things?
You mean like you having them?
Yeah.
That their policy is probably like bring them, they're adorable. Like
okay, excellent. So I don't need to tell Maya to take any over Severosi stuff off or anything. Okay, cool.
Nope.
I'm in civvies.
Right.
Like I've got my coat on and everything else, and I look like I do when I'm walking the streets. Not like the beat, but like just casual.
Cool.
So yeah.
Cool.
I think likewise. I don't bother watering up anymore. Nothing scares me more than my grandmother.
Cool. And I think I picture their manor like a cross between the Addams Family house and Great Expectations, Mrs. Havisham's house. Like everything is kind of covered in like cobwebs and like covered over as if there was some kind of death, and then that on that day everything was covered. And so you're like in this parlor. There are like in doorways, you notice that there are like brass fixtures so that they can set up their own little lightning barriers in different rooms. And those are like, it's weird because it's like old stuff, cobwebs, state-of-the-art electroplasmic fixtures, and there's a tea kettle and three teacups waiting as you enter in, and then Rosalind comes in. Rosalind is a very diminutive young woman. I don't know why, but I've always pictured Rosalind as a very, very young, played by a very, very young Whoopi Goldberg. I have no idea why that is. There's nothing like that in the book. That's just who I want to play Rosalind in the movie. But way back in her like stand-up comedy days or like the Color Purple days. So yeah, Rosalind comes and says, says, pour yourselves tea, everybody. Drive her on. That's a name I haven't heard in almost a decade.
I say, different business this time, Rosalind, but hopefully same comfortable relations. I will actually pour tea for them.
Oh, cool. I don't think you're here to do any smuggling. So what brings you here today?
A little bit of business and a favor. Is it cool if I take point on this, Lauren?
Oh yeah, totally.
I didn't
Yeah.
know if Maya had secret plans, but I think Drop says like, look, you know that I work with Inspector Tui here these days.
I've heard.
Now, I'm not here to stir up trouble, but I'm here to have a conversation. And I do the exact same slow motion that I did in the middle of the parlor with Bajo Baz, where I take out two objects from my pocket. The first one is the Imperial Mandate seal that I put on the tea table, and the second one is the clock off of the arm of the the armor piece that the guy had that came out of the ghost field.
Oh, nice.
And I look at both of them. And I don't say, like, this guy gave you up or anything else, but like, what I say is like, look, we are like the investigator here under the mandate is on the case that currently has to do with the war that's raging in the streets. And we know that you have picked a side. So here's the deal. I know that there are people above you, and I know that this has, no matter, like, we're not talking to you because we're planning to arrest you. We're talking to you because we can't even figure out who the hell your bosses are. And if there is anybody in this town that can figure out the appropriate ritual to figure out who the hell these people are, it's you. They're talked about like they're spooks. They're talked about like there's wizardry that keeps them safe. I think it's the same nonsense that the spirit wardens use with their masks. And I know that you folks have figured out like that puzzle. So like, what we're looking for is allies in this. And before you either throw up your hands and say that it's impossible or tell us that it's too dangerous, I want to present you with an option. I know for a fact that you folks have been running business for a while. 10 years at least that I know, right? All I'm trying to say is think about the cut that you are giving up every time that you do business. Sometimes it's the cost of business, but right now the Emperor has a real hard-on for stopping this war. And if anyone's going to get that yoke off your back, it's the money and the power that's backing us. We're not looking for you. We're looking for somebody that's going to help us find them.
Oof.
Solid.
That's intense.
I don't know if I need to roll some dice.
Oh yeah, you do.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Tell me what I need to do here, Judd. Is this like a relate to like shift their position so that they at least start talking? Like, what's the?
Yeah, I think it's controlled low.
Okay. I think I'm going to use my.
So I'm going to start.
Go ahead.
I'm going to start 2 clocks.
Okay.
One is you flip them.
Mm-hmm.
Drav flips sisters. And then another one is they kick you out.
These are good clocks.
Ooh.
I'm marking my special armor to push myself in the line of duty.
Okay.
And I'm going to use relate. And you said it was what low? Controlled low or risky low?
Yeah, controlled low.
Okay. So the reason I'm pushing myself is because I'd like it to be standard, like controlled standard.
Okay.
So I can put 2 ticks
Yep.
on the clock. Maya, if you have any assists, they will be welcome. I don't know if you have any ideas or if we just let the dice fly and see how we do.
Ooh. I'm trying to think. So that pitch is solid as hell.
I think it's fine. Maybe we'll let the dice fly and we see how we do. I'm pushing for standard, so that's going to put 2 ticks on. If I get a 4 to 5, then there is a minor consequence, which is probably 1 tick on the we get kicked out clock.
Sounds good. I'm willing to take that gavel.
Hey, relate 3. That last die cinches it. Sweet. So yeah, 2 ticks on the clock, no penalty.
Drav, out of respect for your reputations, which is considerable, and respect for the successful business we did before. I'm listening, but you're saying very dangerous things, and I won't put my sisters in danger.
Maya, you got a pitch here.
Oh.
I actually really love this language because it's telling me that this is not going to be a controlled roll.
The only one that's coming to mind, and it's really not a good one, is that like if shit goes down, no one's safe. Like there are a lot of people with a lot of resources, but on the other end, the Dimmer sisters have a lot of sway and are super powerful. So I don't know how much that's gonna fly. Otherwise,
no, I think your argument's good. Do you want to make the argument? And me, I don't know what your social stats are like. Do you want me to make the argument and you assist me?
I've got 2 in relate, so I could just throw an assist your way, or I could take it and.
I will have more dice. It's however you want.
Yeah. I'm good with throwing. I think it makes sense. I'm just looking at my stress we have, and
cool.
Yeah, our stress is pretty low, so assists are probably a lot better. Like, I'm running on 4 stress right now, and like, if I have to push myself, it's gonna go to 6, and then I'm in danger zone.
Yes, yes.
So, I think Drav steeples his fingers, and he leans in, and he says, the only reason that these people can enforce anything is because none of you are pushing back. And on the other half of the equation, I understand. I'm speaking very broadly here because I'm actually arguing about both groups. On the other half of the equation, we're looking at. Well, let me ask you, let me ask you directly. Like, I know that you've been doing business and you've found ways to do business that are extremely profitable for you. And I know that the group that does business on the other side does not give a shit about the kind of things that you move. It's not their business. They don't care about arcane contraband. So, tell me, how much are you benefiting from this war? Because it sounds like you are putting potentially your lives on the line. Like, I foiled an assassin, and I'm telling you that the billhooks are outright murdering people. They're not just murdering. I'm not even going to argue about the citizenry. I'm going to talk about the fact that eventually your lives will be on the line. Like, polite business is out the window. Guns are only the beginning. Like, it's going to get worse. And you know it's going to get worse. So the question here is, how much are the people... If all of you say no, we will not fight this war, then how much push do they have? And the only reason they have push, in my opinion, is because you don't even know who you're going to face. If you could point out someone, if you could talk to someone face to face, this could get resolved. But right now, you've got ghosts telling you to fight, and you've got no reason to fight. You're not going to get a benefit out of this. Your business isn't going to boom. The money isn't going to change hands. The grind isn't going to get better for you. It's just fighting because you're too scared not to. And I understand. I get it. I wouldn't want to be in the same position, but our mandate isn't actually to arrest anyone. Our mandate is to stop the war.
Drav, I hear you, and I agree. Make a roll. Let's see. Yeah.
I'm pushing him. I don't even know if this is really... Okay, well, let's say that I'm trying to relate. I'm still being reasonable.
Yeah.
What's my position in effect here?
Risky low.
Cool.
Assist or...
Yeah, if you want to jump in and say a sentence here and throw me an assist, I would love it. I'm going to push for standard effect.
Our mandate, does it spell out like what our objective is on it? Or is it just like
End the war. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's like Maya will pull out the mandate instead of like, it like sits on the table, right? So like sort of hand her the mandate so she can read for herself like what our objective is.
Cool. Yeah, she puts little glasses on, looks it over. Cool. That's awesome.
Sweet. You gonna spend a stress and help?
Yes, please.
Risky
Done.
standard. Here we go. Bonus dice. 1.
Risky low, right? Are you pushing?
I did push for effect.
Okay.
So I roll
Got
a
it,
5,
cool.
which means that I do it, but there's a consequence.
Got it.
And that consequence might be ticks on the other clock. Which...
Yep. So it's like, what is it? Is it 1 clock on flips?
So no,
Or
actually,
2?
it's based on the threat. So if it's risky, you put two ticks. If it's desperate, you put 3. If it's controlled, you put 1. So
Got it.
Because I rolled a 4 to 5, the other clock gets 2 ticks unless we resist, and I don't have the stress for resist right now.
Cool. So two clicks on the other clock, and then 1 click on your clock.
2 clicks on our clock because I pushed for effect.
Got it. Okay. So you it was a 4 count clock. So you got it. I'm sorry. I should have made that clear.
Oh, okay. What was the other clock? Was it also 4?
It was also 4. 4 and
Okay.
4. Yeah. She takes her glasses off and says, listen, we all wanted to go on the Hive side. Everybody knows the Hive has no supernatural game to them at all. But word around the street was that they were also looking to hire Lord Skurlock and then put him above us. And we were damned if we were going to work for him. So we went to the unseen. And the Hive has been scurrying to court Lord Skurlock ever since.
Okay.
So you want to... What you're asking is you want us to help you locate the unseen.
Yeah. We can't investigate, we can't jail people that are ghosts. We're gonna follow the money. We're gonna look into everything we can. We're already running paperwork and stuff, but at the end of the day, you can't put a ghost in jail. You can only hand it over to the spirit wardens, and these guys, I don't know what they are. We need something that's gonna force them not to hide. I don't know what that is. That's outside of my purview.
I'm kind of curious to find out who they are. We've got rumors that they've got an antiquarian cult called the Circle of Flame involved in this too.
I've heard of them. They sound like bad business. Are you saying the Hive has the circle?
The Unseen has them.
Oh, my. All right.
Involved in the war in some tangential way. But on the books, we're supposed to be in charge of all supernatural operations. So...
Can I ask a side question?
Sure.
If we get the Hive to Ixnay on the Urlock scale... I can't do the Pig Latin. If we can get the Hive to back away from Lord Skurlock, would you switch sides?
Yeah, if Tajira gave her word, I'd switch sides.
Okay. That's the thing. Alright. Cool. I think I have all the info. Oh, okay, so she's curious about the unseen. So what does that mean? Are you planning to research this?
We've already begun. We don't like not knowing who we've worked for. I'll send you what we have.
Okay. So that's the business. And then I'm going to take the note, put it back inside my jacket pocket, take the watch, put that away as well. And I'm going to say I've got a bit of not job or mandate related stuff to talk about.
All right.
I'm waiting to see if Maya even blinks because Drav is just like cool as a cucumber, not paying attention to her. And he pulls out a note for like, I have no idea what is 2 coin worth.
Probably quite a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot. And I think Drav is just gonna put the money down, and he's gonna say, "I have a friend who has a bit of a ghost problem.
Really?
I have somebody who is willing to try and extract it, but I'm under the impression that it's gonna be one hell of a fight, and I want some of the best guns in the city on my side."
Well, we are that. We'd like to do an intake interview of your friend, talk about the ghost and how it was acquired.
I feel like.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, well, I feel like Maya, because we're friends, like there's probably some small tell that like Maya's freaking out, but on the outside, she's like trying to present herself as poised and stoically as possible. But yeah,
Maya's drinking mushroom tea. That never happens.
Yes, yeah, exactly. She's probably preoccupying herself with her cup as like sort of defense.
I'll see what can be done. But if it came to that, would this be sufficient?
Yes.
Thank you. I know I can count on your discretion.
Of course.
Cool. I'm mark off 2 coin. Boop.
Thank you. That's very touching.
And we can GTFO.
Cool.
That's the job. Is that
Awesome.
cool? Awesome.
I'm good with that. Sometimes it's talking.
Sometimes it's a chicken mission.
I feel like all the dangerous stuff happened on the downtime and entanglements. Like
sometimes that's how this game goes. There's so many people that are just like, downtimes are so mechanical. Nothing ever happens except for these like, and I'm like, what? Are you joking?
I know.
We got all our stress during downtime. 2 entanglements. I walked out into gunfire.
Yeah,
oh my gosh,
I'm really curious as to what is going on. I don't get it at all, and yeah.
Well, I think, Judd, it's a table culture thing, right? Like if it says like, do you want to recover? Okay, just like spend some coin and do the thing, right? And so like if people take that very literally, like if they don't read Harper's introduction or a discussion of free play or any of the other stuff, I can see where people can derive that, but it's shocking because none of my games have been like that. So
right, even if like, you know, in the Blades game, like when my cutter was going to the doctor again because he got hurt again, like the doctor would always be like, "You're gonna die. You're gonna die. Let's stitch you up," you know, and just like even if it's a 2-second thing, just to give it some kind of color so that there's something to it, is important. So anyway, cool.
Shall we do XP?
Yeah, we shall.
I'm gonna write a giant note for us.
Excellent.
All right, cool. Do you want to go first, Maya?
Yeah, totally. Didn't roll any desperate actions, and then I honorably did my duty in service to the Imperium, or you did what's right.
I'm curious to hear your take on this, but we've been doing a lot of our duty to the Imperium today.
Oh yeah, we've done so much duty to the Imperium. I feel like it was literally everything, because which is tough for Maya, because like several of you are quite involved in this. So like she was trying her best to act as like the impartial inspector that she's been told she has to be, and Issa kind of reinforced. So I feel like in that sense, well, everything was kind of driven by that duty. Oh gosh.
To be real, Issa said, "Hey, this is what inspectors are supposed to be, but if we end up ahead, that's a good thing." And I'm curious how much of that Maya absorbed. If Maya was like, "Of course, dear Issa," but Maya's like, "No, I will be righteous," or if Maya was like, "Of course, dear Issa," and she was like, "I will do what you suggest."
Internally, I feel like I feel like Maya doesn't like. We've been in so many situations where, like, Maya like stabbed a guy in the brain to like stop ghosts from flooding in without sort of discussing it with anyone. So I think she's been to so many impulsive places that she doesn't trust herself to like know what her intent is going into any situation.
Wow, that's interesting.
And at the moment, she's trusting that the impulsive choices she's made have so far helped in a way, but she's curious to see if that pattern holds, because you can flip a coin and it can land heads like a number of times in a row, but it will probably hit tails at some point.
Yeah.
So I think that's like where her head was at talking to Isa.
Cool.
Yeah. I don't know what that means for
No, I was just curious. I'm sorry. I was just curious.
Yeah.
But yeah, in terms of doing our duty to the Imperium, I think we spent the whole evening chasing after trying to stop the war.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, definitely.
I don't think we can argue no XP there. So I was just curious about your motivations, because I like hearing about people's thought processes about their characters.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that doesn't tend to come out with Maya, because everything's very, very internal.
Yeah.
Express belief drives heritage background. I feel like that really did come out a hell of a lot this session, with all those are my grandmother's guns. And
Yeah.
oh yeah, I used to get care packages from Severus with this bell on it, and
Yep.
even everything. It was super fun. I loved it, and struggled with issues from vice or trauma during the session.
I feel like you were definitely reckless at least a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I don't. I mean, in particular, peering through the ghost field at some ghost women writing books. That was a little risky there.
Definitely.
So I don't know. That's the one that I can remember.
Yeah, I think that's the one I remember. Yeah, I think that's the one time I was like, oh yeah, this is like a reckless action. I had a reckless action planned in my mind for training, but I'm kind of glad we didn't go that route, because that probably would have ended up in ghost possession.
There is always time for that next time.
Totally. I was thinking like, while Drama's getting shot at, Maya's at home tinkering around with ghost implements that she shouldn't be tinkering around with, because she's...
That's amazing.
So for next time, when she freaks out about letting the Dimmer sisters and get involved in her stuff, she'll be like, no, I can fix this by myself. It'll be fine. I'll put that one for that. Cool. I think that's me.
Awesome. Let me take a look at draws. Boop, boop, boop. Let's see here. You honorably did your duty in service to the Imperium, or you did what's right. Yeah, I wanna say I've been doing that. I've been helping citizenry and dealing with paperwork and terrible people that are assigned. I would like my 2 XP, please.
Definitely.
You express your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background. I don't know that I expressed my... Well, yes, actually. It was like, hey, I used to be a smuggler. Can I talk to the Dimmer sisters? Definitely beliefs and drives were big there. And then you struggled with issues from your trauma or vices. When you overindulge, it is an issue with your vice by definition. And I feel like I was reckless more than once.
Oh yeah, that move, like putting your badge out. I would have. I you left me literally no choice. You're like daring me to shoot you down, like daring me.
I'm wearing the talk shit roll crits. Like, I had to do it. Right? Like, I was like, great, I'm a fucking talk him down. And you're like, desperate low. And I was like, crit. Desperate standard. So,
yeah. That was rad.
Cool. So, yes, I will get my XPs. I am debating. I feel like I had some good moves that I wanted to take in terms of playbook advancement, but I think I'm gonna put 3 points into Savvy. And I'm gonna buy Observe, and then I'm gonna put my remaining 3 points into Conviction. I'm trying to get my resistances up. So, yeah. All right, cool. Let's do the XP on the crew, the mandate.
Yeah, I've got it. I've got it up.
Do it.
Enforce the law or advance the progress of the mandate. I think that's a twofer. Yeah,
Yep.
I think so, yeah.
I got it. Contend with challenges above your current station.
By definition, all twos. Everybody's above our station right now except the Foghounds.
Yes. Bolster your crew's reputation or develop a new one.
Our reputations are ambitious, honorable, and team players.
I think, yeah, you guys did all that. And you only have one tick until you tick over, so that's great. Express your goals, drives, or inner conflict, or essential nature.
I mean, that's like by definition.
Yeah.
We definitely talked about our goals and drives, particularly where I always do this because I need to understand where we stand because I play off of the inspector. Like, Drav is not going to pursue angles when the inspector gets in his face unless it involves the death of his friends, right? So, like, that's like why at the beginning he was like, what do you want to do? How do you want to play this? And he's like, some of these factions are tied to you. Are you interested in actually pursuing this or not? Mm. And so I think that we actually this is odd, but like instead of just demonstrating through our actions, we've actually talked about our goals, drives, and beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. Cool.
Alrighty.
Yeah, so I think we're up one and then one. So we've got one more. We've got one.
Cool. So I will have to check what that means for money, because we get money. But more importantly, before we talk about money, let's talk about this. What do we want as an upgrade? I have 3 suggestions. 1, other 2 trainings, because trainings are always good. 2, we could get another cohort. So like we could get like, hell, we could get a doctor, but it could also be like somebody who acts as like a mortician for us for like investigating bodies and or evidence. So like that's the thing we could do, or we could just get more boots on the ground. We could get like another gang. So like, although so far we've been moving very quietly, which is shocking to me. Like I was expecting a lot more like kicking in doors and like taking down groups and breaking people up. So,
Things might change though. I mean, you haven't really figured out where the doors are yet, really, is the problem.
Yes.
Good point.
Well, there are some doors I know, but I'm not kicking over the billhooks door. It's just a terrible plan. The last time we happened to be near them and they killed half a boat full of people before we could tell them to stop with our boss. We're just, you don't mess with those guys. It's just bad news. So like, yeah, So what do you feel in, Maya? If we took a power, which is also plausible, getting +1 to resistances is not bad because they are rough in a game with only 3 skills per category. How do you feel? Uh-oh. Did we lose the Lauren?
We lost a Lauren.
No! We lost the Lauren! Alright, you know what? I'm gonna make a note here, and we can
figure it out over email?
Huh? Yeah, we'll hash it out. If she's out for the duration, she may just be out for the moment. Give me 1 second.
Oh, sorry about that.
Oh, okay, you're back.
That's okay.
Cool. Uh-oh. This probably messed up all of our faces. Hang on.
Oh no! Oh yeah, I've got like this too of you.
Yeah, I can remove. Ha ha. I'm sorry, if this cuts you off. I'm gonna try a thing.
Oh, please go for it. That was so odd because like I still had internet, but then Zoom froze.
Okay, I don't know if it's just gonna take a couple seconds or not. I tried kicking a person out and it was like, okay, and then nothing happened. I was like, So 1 second. Oh well. All right. Well, we'll just let it go for the moment. I'm sorry, Lauren. I think. Well, actually, hang on. I can do it then.
No, that's totally fine.
1 second. Let me see if I can. Nope. Restarting my video didn't do a gosh darn thing. All right. Well. So okay. Well, let's talk about this and see if it just arbitrarily kicks this person out. This floating connection.
Evil Lauren.
Did you have a preference for which advancement we take, or do you just want to talk about it later and do it over email?
Nothing jumps out. Yeah, like having more people might be handy. I guess more training would be good too. Although I never get to train because there's always so much stuff to juggle during downtime.
That is true.
So yeah, I could see having more people help. I'm not quite sure what the quality of those people.
So it's tied to our gang's quality. And in this case, our mandate starts at tier 1. So they would be the equivalent of tier 1. Now, there is another hack that we could do, which is we could take 1 training, and then we could take elite cohort, which makes all of our cohorts the equivalent of tier 2. Ha ha! The video fixed itself. I'm not sure. Yes, and everyone's in their right spots. All right, we're good. So we can do that now and then get the gang next time, or the time after that, whenever our XP ticks over again. Does that sound good?
I think that sounds good. Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna delete this 1 XP banked, and I'm gonna give us elite cohort. And do you have a preference between force training and or personal training? Personal training is more powers. Force training is like the assault branch.
Interesting. Not particularly. Like I probably should spend some time training force just because it's I have the least thoughts on it. But more powers might also be good.
It's up to you.
Ooh. let's go for powers.
Okay, cool. Personal training it is. And we're done. All right. That's it. Outro time.
Yay.
All right. I'll do my outro first so I can get ready to get set up for smooth outro time. Hey, I've been Strash. I'm one of the regular streamers here. I use he, him pronouns. And thank you for hanging out with us. It's always great to see people in chat, people asking questions, talking about old books and stuff like that. And also, thank you, Andy, for letting us know about the audio. So I'll make sure that that's tweaked before next time. Yeah, I don't have a lot of stuff. I've been making stuff, but I don't have a lot of stuff to talk about. I guess I'm excited because in a couple of weeks I'll be going to Big Bad Con, which is going to be awesome, and you should consider heading out there. The other regular streamer on the channel, the other person that's running stuff is Sean, and it's the con that he organizes. So obviously, he's excited about it too. So hopefully we'll see you there, and if not, it's a con to at least consider for your lists. All right, Lauren, outro away.
Yeah, I'm Lauren. I use she, they. I am at The Stray Kiwi on Twitter, and I have a website, which is thestraykiwi.com if you want to learn more about myself. I want to say, it's so lovely seeing everyone in chat and talking and stuff, and like hearing about everyone's reactions to what's going on. It's always a delight. And I likewise don't have too much going on apart from just plugging away at that editing life, and likewise excited for Big Bad Con. So if you're there, feel free to stop by and say hi. I like hugs, so it's always on the table. And I think that's it for me. How about you, Judd?
Judd, he, him, and it was I'm always excited. The first episode of a new case is always kind of I don't know. It's a little scary because I'm always like, this is it. This is the case where I've really blown it, where I made up something that just isn't interesting or solvable, or what the heck were you thinking with those clocks, or whatever it was. So yeah, it was great to get this one underway and see you all interact with it, which was really interesting. It was a lot of fun. I love how this game, the die rolls push everything along in a way that makes it really, really easy to run this stuff, and fun. And so, yeah, it was nice. And yeah, thank you everyone in chat. Chat is really nice. When the Ghoul case becomes, a New York Times bestseller and we have thousands of people in chat, we will look back and be like, oh man, remember when there were just a dozen really cool people in chat? It wasn't thousands of people just clamoring and so much noise. So thank you all very much for coming. I appreciate it.
All right, everyone. I will bid you all good night, and also hope to see you again in 2 weeks.
Yes, thanks for watching.